I'll tell you what, my computer is running so much faster. We started recording, but you know, go is when we load into the game anyway, isn't it?
Okay, fine, yeah.
So,
Do
have
you
I?
want to party up?
Yeah, let's do that.
You were about to leap into a replay without me then, weren't you?
No, honestly, promise. Should never.
Promise.
Good.
Alright, let's do this.
Let's
Into the lobby we go. Oh, straight through.
flying through.
Nothing but net.
This is what happened previously.
Nothing but net.
Yeah.
Excellent. Here we go, here we go.
Here we have our gold Terran against our wood Protoss.
I knew
Bronze League heroes!
I knew MKP was having a bit of a slump. I didn't realise he'd slumped all the way to Gold League.
Okay, so that's a bit of a nightmare.
Here we go.
So, yeah, here we go. So we're going to cast our second game between MKP and Squishy for the evening. MKP and Squishy, sorry Squishy. our second game between MKP and Jim for this evening.
And spawning in the bottom left, we have the Protoss player. He is from China. He is called IG Jim.
And in the bottom right-hand corner, we've got the Korean Terran legend. It's Marine King MKP.
Indeed it is. We have another fast scout here. Or is it going to be a proxy? We'll have to wait and see. No pylon down from Jim so far, but this probe is looking menacing, don't you think?
Yeah, it's only going to do one thing, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, he's not even heading to the base, is he? So we've happened upon a couple of replays involving proxies right here, and there goes the pylon.
Absolutely. Another... It's an aggressive pylon. I mean, we have to see what he does behind it to decide whether it's a complete cheese or not.
Well, I think he's going to be playing a 10 gate. I would expect him to save probes, cut his probes, wait for that 150, and boom, there goes the gateway.
There's your 10 gate. Nothing going at home. He's building probes. He's saving his chrono boost.
Just resumed probe production now, and barracks down from MKP as well. So, you know, he's not going to be 100% vulnerable. It's not like he's going command center first or anything. Marine King is known for that kind of crazy greed, but maybe not against Protoss.
No. I mean, it depends what he's going to do out of this. I mean, he's taken a gas, so a Reaper opening, I suppose, is a possibility here.
It's the most common opening when you go for an early gas like that, especially, you know, barracks and then gas straight following afterwards. We'll have to wait and see what he wants to do with it. Meanwhile, Jim has taken a gas himself, and I would assume he's going to get a Zealot quickly out of this gateway and then probably rush up to Cybercore.
He's just dropped a pylon in his main, so let's see if the Cybercore goes down as soon as he hits the requisite number of minerals.
Yeah, I mean,
and it does.
He actually saved, you know, cut probe production in order to get that out just a little bit faster as well. So he means business. Let's be honest about this.
He does. But MKP, he's not going Reaper. He's throwing a reactor onto that barracks.
Interesting.
Oh, is that something you'd do?
It's actually, there is one very popular build with Korean Terrans where they'll actually go straight for the reactor and then they'll rapidly create 2 Reapers immediately after it. It does delay your production because obviously that reactor takes a while to build. And in fact, we've got 2 Zealots now making their way into the main for MKP.
So 2 Zealots and nothing to hold it.
And those 2 Reapers have only just started and they take so long to build. He's in for a bit of a tricky situation here. Let's see how he micros this.
He's pulled some SCVs on the way over. Are they going to get there in time? They do. They're going to buff a little bit of damage. They're going to start repairing the reactor. But those Zealots are going to carve through them. The micro here's got to be superb.
It really has to be. Fortunately, he's been able to distract the Reapers, not the Reapers, sorry, beg your pardon, the Zealots away from the reactor, and hopefully he can save it. It's going to be close.
Ooh, he gets them out just in time. The Stalker's turned up to help his friends, though. Those SCVs are going to start going down, but the Reapers can kite this all day. In fact, there's a bunker up now for the Reapers to dive into. Yeah,
MKB threw that bunker down immediately upon seeing those 2 Zealots, so that was a wise move, and that's actually paid off in dividends. It just provides you with that little buffer.
It has, but there's more on the way. There's another Stalker sneaking his way up.
Another Stalker,
he moved
and one of the Reapers
into the base.
Mm.
Another action-packed game. That Stalker causing as much nuisance as he can. Meanwhile, back at home, Jim's not really doing much. He's producing probes, but he is pretty much putting everything into this push at the moment.
Yeah.
So much mining time.
Minerals, well. Yeah. I was just going to say he had 400 minerals at one point, and then he's spending it on something. Getting more Stalkers out. He's really not letting up with this aggression, is he?
No, he's not. He's determined. determined. I mean, he's denying so much mining time. He's picking up SCVs. He's doing a lot of damage, but the second barracks is coming down from MKP. Another bunker's going up.
These stalkers are
There's
getting chewed
so
away.
many stalkers.
I know, he's keeping on. He keeps making them constant chrono boost on that gateway as well.
Although with the second barracks about to finish, MKP should be able to lift his production somewhat, and indeed it looks like Jim's going to hold off just for a second while he concentrates on getting his natural up.
It's really interesting what MKP's response has been to this. He's not taken an expansion. He's actually built 3 barracks off of 1 base.
He just needs units.
But it's really interesting that he's actually elected to go for the full 3 barracks, and the positioning is quite strange. Look at how spread out across his base they are. I mean, these stalkers are not really going to be able to get a lot more done here. I mean, look, he's got several marines. They might just quickly get this one. Oh, dives into that bunker just in time.
What do you think the rationale behind spreading out the barracks like that is?
I don't know. I mean, I would imagine he wanted to be able to build them. If you look at the two later ones, he actually built them nice and tucked away, sort of behind or to the side of his mineral line. So he's clearly trying to build it in such a place that the stalkers wouldn't be able to harass the SCV building. Marines stuck to stepping their way across to these stalkers.
But again, Jim with that absolutely fantastic micro did lose the second stalker to the Reaper just turning up there.
Yeah, the Reapers
of
course
now
are
going to lose the third stalker. And now it's a race against time. Can MKP take down the pylon before? In fact, the unit that was being built is cancelled. Jim has walked away from this push now. He's done a lot of damage. He's going for a further 3 gateways back at home.
I mean, yeah, he knew when he saw that pylon getting attacked that he wouldn't be able to get anything out. And also there's enough units there to chase down whatever it is that's going to be coming out of there if he would do anything.
Absolutely. His warp gate tech's very nearly finished as well. We've got to put Jim ahead here.
I think we do, yeah. If you look at the supplies, he's ahead. He's certainly ahead on workers. It's 31 probes to 20 SCVs at the moment. And MKP is only just now starting his command centre.
That's true, but I'm wondering what MKP can get done here, because Jim has only got 1 stalker on the field at the moment. There's no cannons, there's a mothership core.
Exactly. He's got the mothership core, which has got 145 energy, so he'll have enough to throw down that photon overcharge. I don't see this push doing a lot at all, actually, to be honest with you.
So down goes the photon overcharge,
exactly.
And back it goes.
Yeah, you can't really do anything against that, especially not with the sort of limited skeleton force that MKP has here at the front.
Absolutely, and his skeleton force is out of position because there's 2 sentries, 2 zealots just warped in.
Indeed,
one of the proxies that was popped up. Now MKP saw that probe going across the map on the way across, either didn't spot it or elected not to do anything about it.
One thing I love
the gateway piled up again.
I love this from Jim. This is so clever. I mean, he didn't finish the gateway off, so why not repower it? I mean, it's
Absolutely.
Just using Protoss' strengths to his own end.
Gateway, proxy down in MKP's base as the stalkers come in. It's going to be a massacre. The zealots chasing up after the marines. The sentries are there to force field things off. Again, I can't see MKP holding this. His marines are scrambling back across the map.
It's going to be
now
tricky.
we've got a reinforcement point directly in MKP's base.
Indeed, he does. He's just completely outpositioned MKP. I mean, I feel like that was a really, really, really foolhardy move out from MKP. I mean, he must have had an inkling as to how behind he actually was. I find it really curious that he actually decided to push out like that. I mean, as we just see that Reaper getting picked up, I guess the only reason would be that he threw down those extra barracks and he thought, well, heck, I've got to actually try and do something with these.
The way Jim, I mean, we were admiring Jim's micro and keeping his stalkers alive, but his multitasking as well was incredible.
Yeah.
He's macroed it very strongly. Look at all these units warping in now.
Fantastic.
Pylons all over the place.
Keeping that stalker alive as well.
Surely there's nothing MKP can do to hold this. He's got marauders out. I don't think he's got enough. The SCVs are pulled.
I think it's not going to be enough, you know.
No, I think we've seen it all here.
Indeed, that's a lot of stalkers.
It is, with yet more arriving. Zealots coming to tank some damage. Ooh,
3 more zealots
Widow mine around, but again...
There are a few Widow mines.
Again,
I don't think they're going to make much difference though, unfortunately.
We're down to the bare bones here, I'm afraid, Squishy.
Yeah. Last SCV is getting killed off here. The expansion's died. I think OTP knows he's dead as well.
He does.
He is one of these players where, in games past, he has stuck in the game, but some would say maybe too long.
And a Desperation Widow Mine drop. It appears he's going to base race with Widow Mines that don't shoot buildings.
It's brave. I'll give it that. I mean, there is already a robotics facility on the way here for Jim, so he's aware of the threat. He's probably going to be like, okay, well, I might take a few losses for this, but hey, I'm going to get an observer out. It's going to be chrono boosted. He's going to be out in no time. All he has to do is just manage this effectively, and he'll be fine.
Well, really, Jim's won this game. He's forced to lift off from all the buildings. They're on fire. They're going to die. Widow Mines are having a bit of fun. Though. I don't think it's anything more than a little bit of fun. But they're having a good time while they're at it.
I mean, look at MKP's supply. He's on 17 supply. He knows he's dead. He's just trying to do what he can.
Is he just wasting Jim's time now?
Yeah. I mean, maybe he's just letting it sink in. I mean, there we
go. GG.
Well,
so, wow.
An action-packed game.
Was another quick game with Jim. He loves this early aggression.
He does, doesn't he? It's refreshing to see out of Protos's. I think many people were afraid that, Protoss coming into Heart of the Swarm, they've got this new defensive tool, the Mothership Core. They'd just kind of sit back, play as greedily as possible. Well, Jim's just one of these players that says, no, I'm going to punish this player. If he's going to play greedy, I'm going to make his life a living hell. And I think we've just seen 2 games where Jim was able to demonstrate his defensive capabilities, beautifully countering that 11-11 in the previous game, and then this one showing off his aggressive capabilities as well, with a fantastically executed 10-gate.
Absolutely, and from the moment that 10-gate went down, he seized the initiative. He was robbing so much mining time from MKP, who had to pull... He had probably 8 SCVs following around the Zealots, following around the Stalkers, and that macro advantage was converted expertly by Jim, keeping the harasser, but behind it he was probing like anything. He got his second base down. He eventually got up to Robo. He got 4 gateways down.
Probing like a Roswell alien.
Absolutely. So yeah, that's another game. I'm very impressed with Jim. I find the Chinese players, given that they live in their own self-contained bubble out in China, to be quite mysterious, and it's interesting to see the strategies that are evolving out there.
Well, with them, increasingly participating in WCS America, I think we're seeing new sides to the game as exhibited by the Chinese players. They do have quite a definitive style. What struck me the most about this game, and the last game as well, was just how in control, I don't mean the EG player in control, I mean literally how in control of the game Jim seemed to be at all times while he was playing. There was never a moment where you got the impression that he was panicking at all. Do you see what I mean there? Yeah,
it was very cold. It was very calculated. When he saw MKP pushing towards his base, he didn't see it as a threat. He saw it as an opportunity. He got the pylon built at the top of the map. He repowered his gateway that was outside the gate, because leaving that gateway standing, it's sloppy. It means that he has to... It's going to cost him 100 minerals rather than 150 minerals, effectively, for his next gateway. And although warp gate's down and it doesn't really matter because you're warping units in, that pylon serves as a reinforcement point. He got a second pylon up inside the natural. He got a third pylon up inside the main, and from that point it was almost too easy. And when he's doing that to MKP, that's very, very impressive.
Indeed, if you consider the caliber of player that we've come to know in MKP, not on his best form in 2013, he hasn't had the most exemplary of years. It's certainly not quite the form that he was on towards the end of 2011 and beginning of 2012. But I think it looked apparent that Jim had MKP quite frustrated that game. Completely the opposite. MKP seemed to be riled. He seemed to be frustrated. He didn't quite know what he was doing, and he got caught off guard so completely by those 2 early Zealots that came in. I mean, those 2 Reapers were only about a quarter of the way done when the Zealots came up the ramp.
So yeah, another great time by Jim. I enjoyed that. Thank you very much for your time this evening, Squishy.
Yeah, you too. I'm glad we've finally been able to cast a few games.
Absolutely, those tech problems will not keep us down.
Certainly not, now that we've got the internet fixed as well. It's going to be clean sailing from here, I hope.
Let's hope so. Right, thank you very much. I'll see you shortly. I'll be around your house in a few minutes.
Yeah, we better get on over here. I think the weather's getting worse already.
Yeah, open me a beer, mate. I'll see you in a few.
Ta-ra, bye.
Ta-ra.